Brazilian football, Argentinian football, French football, German, Dutch football. Schools, systems, and styles of football are known by almost everyone, and they all have their favorite. But behind all of them, before there were leagues, before there was even a shared rulebook, football was a complete chaos. Mobs of villagers kicking, throwing, and wrestling an inflated pig's bladder through open streets. No limit on players, barely any limit on violence. The game we watch today is nothing like it originally was. Today, America is hosting the biggest football tournament in the world, but people barely know where it came from until today. Stay with us because you will learn where football actually comes from. Here's what most origin stories skip entirely. Britain didn't invent kicking a ball, and not even close. According to FIFA's own historical recognition, the earliest documented kicking game on record is Cuju, played in China as far back as the Warring States period, somewhere in the 5th to 3rd century BC. Han Dynasty military manuals describe it as cavalry training. Teams advancing a leather ball using every part of the body except the hands, working it toward a small opening in a net. By the Song Dynasty, Cuju had its own professional clubs and its own governing associations. Organized sport centuries before anything like it existed in Europe. FIFA has formally credited Cuju as the game's earliest ancestor. However, halfway around the world, a completely separate ball tradition was developing on its own timeline. In Mesoamerica, what's now called the Mesoamerican ball game, Pok to the Mayans, dates back possibly as far as 1600 BC, making it older than Cuju by over 1,000 years. Archaeologists have recovered solid rubber balls from that era, the earliest known evidence of rubber production anywhere in the world. However, Pok wasn't played with the feet at all. Players struck a heavy rubber ball, sometimes weighing several kilograms, using their hips, forearms, and knees, driving it down a long stone court flanked by sloped walls, in some versions aiming to send it through a raised stone ring. Hands were forbidden. The game carried deep ritual weight. It appears in the Maya creation story known as the Popol Vuh, and major matches were staged as ceremonial events, occasionally tied to sacrifice. So when someone tells you England invented football, the truth is much more ancient and, honestly, more interesting. Maybe England didn't create football, but actually, they invented the rulebook. Did you know the real story behind football? If so, let us know in the comment section. If not, then drop a like, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell. This helps us keep delivering content like this straight to your feed. In medieval Britain, a version of mob football took hold that had almost nothing in common with the modern sport. The earliest recorded match dates to 1174 in London's Cheapside district. Entire towns played entire towns, moving a ball through streets, open fields, and rivers, often with a rival town's church as a target. It was brutal enough that the crown tried to kill it outright. Edward II banned it in London in 1314. Edward III banned it again in 1363. He wanted young men practicing archery for the war with France, not brawling over a pig's bladder. Between 1314 and 1667, football was formally outlawed in England more than 30 separate times, and every time, it came back. By the 1800s, football had moved off the streets and into England's boarding schools. Rugby, Eton, Harrow, Shrewsbury, Winchester. Each school wrote down its own version of the rules, mostly to keep boys occupied between terms. The problem was, those rules didn't match each other. Rugby school allowed a player to pick up the ball and run with it, whereas Eton banned that outright. So when boys from different schools met up at university and tried to play together, they physically couldn't. Nobody in the match agreed on what game they were playing. Cambridge University tried to settle this starting in the 1840s, producing a compromise rulebook that came to be known as the Cambridge Rules, revised again in 1848, 1856, and 1863. It banned handling the ball. It banned hacking, meaning kicking an opponent in the shins to stop them from advancing. Nobody in that room could have known it yet, but those rules were about to decide the future of two entirely different sports. On October 26, 1863, representatives from 11 London football clubs gathered at the Freemasons Tavern to found the Football Association. The goal was simple on paper: one rulebook for everyone. But in the room, it was anything but simple. The entire fight came down to hacking. Clubs like Blackheath argued that kicking an opponent's shins was central to the game. The representative, F.W. Campbell, called it the true football. The clubs that had already adopted the no-hacking Cambridge rules disagreed just as hard. Then the vote came on November 24th, 13-4 against hacking. Campbell walked out. He resigned from the FA on the spot. He and the club siding with him went on to found their own governing body in 1871, the Rugby Football Union. One narrow vote. Two sports walked out of that room. The no-hands, no-hacking game that became association football, and the handling, tackling game that became rugby. The FA's first laws of the game, published on December 8, 1873, ran to just 13 rules, a sliver of the rulebook the sport uses now, but it was enough to draw a permanent line between two codes of football. From that split, association football spread through the British Empire and beyond, eventually organized worldwide under FIFA, founded in 1904. Today, it's the most watched sport on the planet, and every bit of that traces back to a specific, contested, nearly reversed decision made by a room of Victorian clubmen who almost voted the other way. So the next time someone says football was invented in 1863, you'll know the real version. It was almost split into something unrecognizable, and it survived by 4 votes. But what do you think? Was this really a clean invention, or is every founding moment in sports actually this messy underneath? Let us know in the comments. And stories like this mark a country's identity, and for us, that's fundamental, and it's actually the mission of our project. We are Big Picture Originals, a brand powered by Brazil Paralelo, driven by a small team that seeks to bring to you high-quality productions that connect audiences with the culture, history, and values that give purpose to life. To achieve our goal, every kind of support means the world. So, if you feel related and you enjoyed this video, drop a heart like. Let us know your opinion in the comments. Subscribe to our channel and share this video with anybody that you feel might appreciate it. And if you want to get early access to our releases, click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen right now. See you in our next brief.